Some words are so sharp they don't cut until much later. And when they finally do, it's not just the person you hurt that bleeds. It's you. I didn't mean it the way it came out. That's what I've told myself every day since the crash. It was late. We were arguing. I was tired, frustrated, and scared. My son, Caleb, had been slipping. Bad grades, late nights, friends I didn't know, a defiance in his voice I didn't recognize. His sister, Lily, was the opposite. Straight-A student, clean record, soft-spoken, already applying for scholarships. I made a mistake. A devastating one. "I wish you were more like your sister," I said. Not in anger, not even loudly. But I meant it. And he heard it. He stormed out, grabbed his keys, and drove off. An hour later, the phone rang. I still hear the voice from the hospital, calm but heavy, telling me Caleb had been in a wreck, that his spine was damaged, that he might never walk again. Now I visit him every day. And every day, I pray he'll look at me and say the one thing I can't seem to give myself. I forgive you. But so far, he hasn't. The thing they don't tell you about spinal injuries is that they're not just physical. They change everything. Time, space, hope, even language. Walking becomes a goal, not a given. Independence becomes measured in how many minutes someone can sit upright without pain. Caleb was 17 when the crash happened. He was found conscious, slumped against the driver's side door, legs pinned, breath shallow. The EMTs said he was lucky to be alive. I don't know if I agree. I remember standing in the hospital hallway, the smell of disinfectant and fear in the air, trying not to cry as the surgeon explained the damage. Incomplete spinal cord injury, fractures, nerve disruption, possibility, but not certainty, of recovery. They said it with rehearsed calm, like it wasn't my boy in there. Like they didn't know what I'd said before he left. The rehab center is an hour away. I drive there every afternoon after work, carrying snacks he no longer asks for, books he doesn't read. Sometimes we talk. Mostly, we sit. The first week, he didn't speak at all, just stared out the window, jaw tight. I tried to fill the silence. I never meant it, Caleb. I was just scared. You were spiraling. I didn't know how to reach you. Nothing. It wasn't about her. It was about you. I want you to be okay. Still nothing. Eventually, he said, I know what you said. I just didn't know it was how you really felt. That cut deeper than the crash ever could. The guilt sits with me like a second shadow. I see it in every nurse's smile, every lift he needs to get into bed, every time he struggles to do what used to be effortless. He has to ask for help now, and I'm the one who pushed him to drive angry. Lily visits too, though less often. She cries more. Caleb tells her not to, tells her, this wasn't your fault. I wish he'd say the same to me, but he doesn't. In physical therapy, he pushes hard, harder than anyone expected. They strap him into a harness, support his weight with ropes, and coax his legs into motion. He grits his teeth, stares forward, doesn't speak. Sometimes the therapist calls him a machine, but I know what fuels him. It's not motivation. It's pain. And maybe hatred. I started writing him letters, on paper, in pen, like I used to do when he was little and at summer camp. The first one was short. Just 4 words, I am so sorry. The second was longer. I told him about the day he was born, the song that played in the car when I brought him home, how his tiny hands used to grab my thumb like it was the whole world. He didn't say anything when I gave him that one, just slid it under the stack of medical forms on his tray table, but he didn't throw it away. One day, I found a note in my jacket pocket. His handwriting, just 3 words, still not ready. It gutted me, but I deserved it. Weeks passed. One evening, I showed up to see the therapist crying. Not sad tears, stunned ones. He stood, she said, just for 2 seconds. But he stood. I rushed into his room. He was sitting up, sweat-drenched, exhausted. But there was a smile on his face, The first real one in months. "You did it," I whispered. He nodded. And then, almost casually, he said, "You don't have to keep saying sorry." I blinked. He wasn't smiling anymore. "But I need you to mean it. Not just because I'm broken. Not because you're guilty. I need you to understand what you did." I sat down, and for the first time, I told him the truth. I told him I was scared of losing him even before the crash. That watching him drift scared me more than any injury ever could. That when I said those words, "I wish you were like your sister," it wasn't just disappointment. It was grief. Because I felt like I'd already lost the version of him I used to know. I told him I didn't want a different son. I just wanted him back. And he said, "I never left. You just stopped seeing me." And he was right. Caleb walks now. Not far. Not without help. But he's getting stronger. And we're speaking again. Not always easily, but honestly, some scars don't heal the way you want them to. Some relationships limp before they run. But every time I see him take a step, I take one too. Toward forgiveness. Toward being the father he deserves, not just the one who's sorry. And every now and then, when I least expect it, he says, "I'm glad you're here." Not "I forgive you." Not yet. But maybe that's not what matters most. Maybe what matters is that he hasn't given up on walking, and I haven't given up on making it right.